We are following the latest developments in the multiple legal challenges facing former President Donald Trump. CBS News has learned that former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is extensively cooperating with federal prosecutors investigating efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election, and his cooperation has Trump allies on edge. It comes amid a movement in the election interference case in Georgia and Trump's civil fraud case in New York. Robert Costa was in the courtroom with Donald Trump yesterday.
Mark Meadows was by former President Donald Trump's side throughout the aftermath of the 2020 election. Now, sources close to Trump tell CBS News the former chief of staff is cooperating with special counsel Jack Smith in his election interference case. Meadows' lawyers declined to comment about the investigation. But one person close to a key witness says Meadows has provided detailed testimony about his private discussions with Trump. And there is concern he could be moving toward an immunity arrangement with prosecutors.
This is a huge breakthrough for the special counsel's prosecution. The dominoes are indeed starting to fall one after another. And this puts even more pressure on those who are still facing charges.
Meadows is also a co-defendant in the Georgia election interference case, where he has pleaded not guilty. But yesterday, former Trump campaign lawyer Jenna Ellis admitted to making false statements that the 2020 election was fraudulent.
If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges.
Ellis became a face of those legal challenges alongside Rudy Giuliani.
This is an elite strike force team that is working on behalf of the president.
But on Tuesday, Ellis became the third attorney associated with Trump to accept a plea deal and could testify against him in the future.
Heck of a reunion.
And in New York, there was a dramatic standoff in court as Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen sat across from him and accused Trump of fraud.
This is about accountability, plain and simple.
Cohen said Trump directed him to balloon his net worth and inflate the value of his properties. But Trump's legal team has attacked Cohen's credibility after he served prison time for lying to Congress.
He's not a credible witness, and so far he hasn't said anything that matters.
Trump and Cohen are scheduled to be back in the court today as Cohen continues his testimony in this ongoing civil case. For Trump and Cohen, it was the first in-person confrontation they have had in 5 years.
Very interesting. I got to tell you, like, it just seemed ever since Sidney Powell, took a plea, the dominoes have been falling fast and furious. So former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows working extensively with federal prosecutors, possibility of immunity, but that's not sort of confirmed. I mean, what sort of impact could this have on Trump's case? And all the other co-defendants must be, biting their fingernails.
And in a Truth Social post, Trump has said that he does not believe Meadows has cut an immunity deal, and he does not believe that Meadows in any way will betray him. He used some dramatic language, not surprising, in his social media post as he described this latest report about Meadows cooperating with prosecutors. At the same time, Mark Meadows is someone who is really important in the January 6th story in the sense that he was White House Chief of Staff. He was in the room in the Oval Office with Trump again and again as Trump considered different ways to overturn the 2020 election. He has an up-close eyewitness view of the efforts to pressure Vice President Mike Pence to get different state electors and state officials to throw out their electors and bring so-called alternate electors to the fore. He was touching everything. And Meadows is someone who has been cooperating with investigators for quite some time, based on our conversations with those close to this investigation. And think about this. Meadows, we know, has already provided investigators on Capitol Hill with his text messages, and we know that the special counsel, Jack Smith, has those text messages as well, which really were a roadmap, as you recall, for the January 6th committee.
All right, so on to another case, a civil case here in New York. We talked about it in the lead-in. Michael Cohen, the former president's former attorney/fixer, testified yesterday just feet from his old boss. What was the reaction to yesterday's comments, and what can we expect from today's testimony?
In this trial, which is a civil trial in New York, Cohen really is important because for the state attorney general and her prosecutors, he is someone who can provide that same vivid detail in a different way about Trump's business dealings, about how he tried to inflate the value of his property in an allegedly fraudulent way. in the eyes of prosecutors, and he can bring them into the conversations with Trump. For example, Cohen testified yesterday that at one point Trump was worth $4.5 billion in the eyes of many. Trump said to his associates privately, maybe I'm worth $6 billion. Let's try to get everything up to that number. And in that sense, the prosecutors are arguing that Trump was trying to defraud investors about his net worth. But Cohen is someone who has had his credibility questioned ever since he pleaded guilty to lying to Congress a few years ago.
All right, Bob Costa, thank you very much.
Thank you.